Chaeyoung's Lil Fantasy might just be one of the best K-pop albums that I've heard this year, if not the best. When I heard news of her solo venture, I was so excited and I was anticipating. Although she's not my bias, Chaeyoung is one Twice member I have been instantaneously drawn to since I became a fan ages ago. She is someone who is so clear with her artistic expressions, especially in a group that has a certain image. Such as artistic expressions don't really align with the Twice branding. But ever since I've known of Twice, or ever since I became a fan of Twice, just seeing Chaeyoung is someone I've just been instantaneously drawn to, like I said before. Just, her artistic expressions, her style, the kind of music she listens to are things I like. I've always looked forward to what she would do outside the group's image, outside the group. When she did the Upstar remix to Coco and Claire, that made me so excited. And listening to that, it made me even anticipate her solo venture. And then finally in August, yeah, it was August. In August, we got the news that she would be debuting as a solo artist. And I remember I was yapping to my assistant and how excited I was for Chaeyoung's solo debut. And I wanted to see how she would express herself outside the constraint of being in Twice. And knowing what Chaeyoung is like, I knew she was going to have a lot of creative freedom and expression in whatever she did. In Twice, from their debut, she has been writing lyrics. She was one of the first members to actually start penning down lyrics. And then seeing her artwork and whatnot, and her music style and her music recommendations, knowing how she likes to creatively express herself, I was looking forward to what I would hear her solo debut sound like, because a solo work gives you, an entry into what a person's mind is like. It gives you an entry into how a person operates, especially in K-pop outside of the group, what they might want for their path to look like in their musical journey outside of the group. So I was anticipating that. And then when Avocado dropped, Avocado was a surprise release because it just dropped and we didn't even get any, promotions or whatnot for our music video dropping. And I remember listening to Avocado and I was just so entranced the whole time because I was like, oh my god, yes. I had a feeling she was going to do something like that. And I was so happy that she did that. And then finally the album dropped. I didn't listen to the album for a while. I was a bit late to listen to the album. I only listened to the album like 2 weeks ago for the first time. Like nearly 2 weeks ago was the first time I listened to the album. And that was because I was waiting for my pair of headphones to arrive. Immediately, I was just raptured. It's a very short album. I believe we have about 20 minutes on the album. So it's very short. Either 20 minutes or 9. No, it's definitely not 9 minutes. Because that would be diabolical. But I believe we have either 19 or 20 minutes on the album. So it's a fairly short album. But I was immediately entranced and enraptured by the whole album because she's basically taking into a world, and it literally says in the name, Lil Fantasy. So this is her world. This is the world she's created in her head. This is her safe space. This is a place she escapes to. So when I listen to the album, I love the songs. I like all of the songs on the album. The songs are pretty much, or the genres are something I pretty much listen to, so nothing about it felt, oh my god, it's gonna take a while. Like I wasn't, nothing in the album took me by surprise genre wise, because it's the kind of music I pretty much like. Shoot, I would say was a bit of a girl on me, because the first time I listened to Shoot, I was like, I don't know how I feel about it, but then it got stuck in my head, and I remember listening to it the second time and had the newfound appreciation for the song. But my standout on the album is definitely Ribbons. Ribbons is so fantastic. It's a fantastical body of work. Ribbons is basically all 3 women on the track talk about their hardships working in the music industry. And for a ribbon is something you bend to your will. And unfortunately, that's how it is in the music industry, especially in South Korea. South Korea industry is a lot more intense and restrictive and restrained than the West would be. And A ribbon is something that you bend to your will into whatever shape you want it to be, and that's what, that's how I liken the song too. That's how I feel like that was the message. I think that was the message they were trying. That was the message they were sending out. How the industry bends it to your will, especially Chaeyoung. She's a K-pop artist, and with that comes, the lack of, your personality actually seeping through, because you have to be this perfect person. Your imagery and your visuals and everything is like it's engineered by this company. There are in Twice we saw this in Twice. Chaeyoung was given the tomboy cool girl personality and persona. Was given the tomboy cool girl persona, even though it wasn't something she was very keen on. You hear her complaining about this years later, that the company enforced that on me, and I did not really like it because it didn't make me feel feminine, and I wanted to be feminine, and I wanted to decide how I chose to look. So all of that. Ribbons was so good because it takes you by surprise. I remember listening to it for the first time. I was like, whoa, oh my god, I need to replay this immediately, and I did. And I was like, this is incredibly beautiful. The album is so good. It's been on constant rotation since I listened to it. I remember the first time I listened to the album, I was on the train to work, and immediately the album was done, I said, we are re-listening to this immediately, and I proceeded to listen to it a good 3-4 times again, because it's just, the album is comfortable. It feels very comfortable. It feels very cozy. For instance, Avocado. For instance, in Shoot. The Shoot is about it's a story about temptation, but she doesn't use apple. She uses avocado to liken temptation, wanting something that that would harm you, or you're acting into you're asking something that is bad for you, asking to light to ignite that firecracker, to ignite that, to shoot his firecracker into your heart, and just feel things. She even says this, I know I've been hurt before, but I know how to hold on. So something's not good for you. This temptation that she likes on avocado is not great for her, but she's it's a temptation. She knows it's not going to do her very good, but she's had experiences in the past, and she's built herself so much that she's okay to go through with this. In general, the album was entirely beautiful to listen to. My favorites from the album are Girl. I love Girl so much. I love Ribbons, like I said. I love Shadow Puppet. Shadow Puppet is also, I haven't seen the lyrics, but hearing it, you can tell these are personal experiences, especially being a K-pop idol. Because a K-pop idol is, whether you like it or not, is a puppet, okay? The musical industry, a lot of artists are puppets, but it's entirely worse than a K-pop art, in the South Korean industry, because these people are idols. Idols are meant to be perfect. Idols are godlike. So that makes you even more controlled. Every move is controlled. If you're acting in a way that doesn't fit the narrative, you could easily get chopped. You could either get, chopped off the block. Wait, what's the word? If you act in certain ways that don't fit, the narrative the fans have of you, the narrative that the company wants you to portray, you could easily get dropped from the company, or your endorsements and whatnot could fall down, because fans don't want that. They want perfect. They want someone that feels godlike and someone they can put on a higher pedestal. So out of the songs on the album, I really enjoyed Girl. I really enjoyed Ribbons. I really enjoyed Downpour. Downpour was so good. I also loved Avocado. Avocado has been a favorite of mine since its release. To be honest, I like every song on the album, but these are like my big standouts. Like, this song is like really, really loud. Well, I also really like Shadow Puppet. I will say, in my room, when I first heard it in 2023 during the Ready to Be tour, I was not a fan of it. I was like, oh god, like I was like, okay, like. I heard it once and that was it. It wasn't something I thought, oh my god, I want to listen to this again. But then listening to it on the album and hearing it be actually, recorded with tight vocals and whatnot and just improved. I love, let's say in my room. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I meant my guitar. Oh girl, it's because I just listened to it in my room for the first time and it's stuck in my head. But I meant my guitar. I did not lie, I wasn't a fan of my guitar at first. But listening to it on the album, I really do like it. I don't know, it's a lot nicer now. And knowing, because I saw the lyrics, and the lyrics just showed that, it just shows openness and like the need to be vulnerable, because she's inviting this specific listener to come listen to me play my guitar. It's just me and you in this space. It's just both of us. Listen to me and, come into this intimate moment with me while I bear my soul out on my strings. And I just thought it was absolutely beautiful. And I am not joking when I say this is one of the best K-pop albums, but I am not joking when I say this is one of the best K-pop albums I've heard this year. To be honest, I think it's the best I have heard this year. It's such a cohesive body of work. You don't get cohesiveness a lot in K-pop albums, but this is a very cohesive body of work from beginning to the end. The album knows what it is, and you can tell she was very intentional with what she wants the album to be, what she wants you to think of when she listens to the album. And in her words, I recall her saying, you either like it or you don't. And she said there's no in between. You either like the songs on the album or you don't. And she said if you don't like it, that's okay. Then it's not for you, which is the truth. It's just a very cohesive body of work. It's also very intentional with what it wants you to see. The imagery it wants you to have. It's very intentional with that, and I really appreciate it. And in general, you could just tell that it's an extension of her. It's her. When I listened to the album, I was like, this is Chaeyoung. This is so Chaeyoung. It just feels like her. It doesn't feel like someone else, kind of imposed this on her. This is her. This is what she wants you. This is an embodiment of her, and it's clearly in every song on the album. I cannot stop singing the album praises. I really can't. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really want to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so that would be really nice if you could subscribe. Thank you.